Albert Einstein once said, the most important question in the universe is, do you believe we live in a friendly universe or not? And when you think about it, our answer to that question changes everything. If you believe we live in a hostile universe, then naturally the world is this big, scary place. If you believe we live in a neutral universe, then the burden of responsibility to make your life work is completely on your shoulders. That's a lot of pressure. But if you believe we live in a friendly universe, then all of a sudden life becomes a lot easier and a lot more magical. And for me, making that shift a few years ago was a huge change in my life. I didn't grow up this way, and it was a bit of a wild ride getting here. And not believing that almost destroyed me a few years ago. When I graduated from college, I got this good corporate job, which was a big deal at the time. I started working for this company, trying to make some money and be successful and do all these things. And within a year, I was completely miserable. I hated the corporate world. It was not for me for a lot of reasons. And being outside in nature, making this video for you feels a lot more like me. So I quit that job, and here I was at 23, kind of lost and confused, like, what am I gonna do for the next 40 years of my life? So I decided to go to graduate school in Australia. I applied for an MBA at the University of Western Australia, and I got accepted. So I flew out there, and I'll let you in a little secret. The MBA was a bit of a decoy. I didn't really care to go to grad school, but I really needed some time to figure it out, figure out my life and who I was. So here I was, I had 18 months on the other side of the world. And as soon as I landed in Australia, I was like, all right, I gotta get some answers here. And very quickly, I discovered personal development. This was like Tony Robbins and Tim Ferriss and Brian Johnson. And it blew my mind that I could read these books and listen to these podcasts that would expand my mind really and help be more effective in the world. I got super into it. And along the way, I came across the 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, amazing book that explained how you could build an online business so you could work from anywhere, work whenever, wherever you want, and make money online. And when I found that, I was like, oh my God, this is the path. This is how I'm gonna escape the corporate world. So I got to work, and I started building this personal development blog that I could see would turn into a business down the road. I was doing all these personal development experiments, learning all this stuff, and writing about my stories, living in Australia and discovering personal development. And at that point, I so wanted this to work. And I was so averse to going back to the corporate world that honestly, I was willing to do whatever it took, straight up. So I started living this triple life in Australia. During the day, I was an MBA student. At night, I was a personal development blogger. So around from 8 p.m., 9 p.m. till 3 a.m. every night, I would get on my computer, put on my big headphones, and get to work. Writing articles, building the website, learning about affiliate marketing and all this stuff. And on the weekend, I was a topless waiter, which that's a whole different story for another day. But that was my life. And around that time, Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, was very popular, and his whole shtick was outwork everybody. And I thought to myself, okay, I was a swimmer growing up. I know about work ethic. I can just outwork everybody, and that's how I'm going to be successful. And around then, that notion that the world, the universe is a friendly place hadn't occurred to me yet. I saw the universe as this very mechanical place. If you work hard, good things will happen. If you don't work hard, you're going to fail. It was kind of like that. So I got to work, and one thing Gary Vee was saying was, you got to work until your eyeballs bleed out. So I took that quite literally. I'd be 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, my eyes would be dry from being on the computer so late. And I'd look in the mirror and think, okay, they're not bleeding yet, I gotta keep going. Eventually I left Australia, I came back to North America, and actually my eyes gave me some issues. I went to the eye doctor and he said, Phil, I don't know what you've been doing, but your eyes are deeply dehydrated. You gotta be careful. I was like, okay, all right, maybe I gotta ease up just a little bit. But I moved to this entrepreneurial community, and now I had these other guys around me, young guys in their 20s, trying to build online businesses or trying to build something that would make our life work. And we had this sign in our bathroom that said, relax, but we crossed it off and we wrote hustle underneath it. And that was kind of like the culture at the time. Like, we don't have time to relax, we gotta hustle, we gotta make this work. And here's the thing, when you don't believe you live in a friendly universe, then relaxing is a bit dangerous, right? It's like, am I gonna be okay if I just chill, or are things gonna fall apart? Every time I'd go to the bathroom, I'd see this sign on the wall and I'd think to myself, I gotta pee faster, man. I gotta get back to work. So by the time I was 28, thank God the business was working. I was making money and I was pretty safe from not having to go back to the corporate world. But I was really exhausted. Been putting so much pressure on myself, pushing so hard that I was running out of gas. And at that time, one of my mentors, I was talking to him, explaining the situation. And he just said, Phil, of course you're feeling this way. You're operating in stage 2 consciousness. I said, what? What do you mean? Said, well, listen, there's 4 stages of consciousness. You're operating in level 2. Of course, you're going to exhaust yourself. I said, okay, can you explain what the other stages are? I'd love to understand this. Please enlighten me. And of course. They said stage 1 is victim consciousness. It's this idea that life happens to me. I'm a little victim, I'm powerless, and there's the government and the economy and the weather and my boss and all these forces outside me kind of control my reality, and I'm just here feeling sorry for myself. Now, we all know victim consciousness is not where we want to be, and a lot of people who've studied personal development naturally go into stage 2, which is creator consciousness. I can create my reality. I can improve my stock in life if I'm willing to work hard. So that's a huge step from stage 1, right? That's give the power back to ourselves. But it's also predicated on this idea that if it's up to be, it's up to me. So now that puts a lot of pressure. And that's firmly where I was operating, right? But eventually we start to hit this glass ceiling where there's only so much energy. There's only so much we can do while believing that we are disconnected from everything else around us and that we're just this little human floating on a piece of rock in space. So at that point, I said, please tell me about stage 3. I said, absolutely. Stage 3 is co-creator consciousness. Co-creator consciousness is this idea that there's me, there's the universe, and we work together in tandem. And it's predicated on this notion that yes, we do live in a friendly universe. Because you can't graduate to stage 3 if you believe it's a neutral universe. That just doesn't work. But at that point, I was exhausted. I had gone into my spiritual journey. I was expanding myself to a bigger perspective. And I was like, you know what? I'm willing to give this a shot. So in stage 3 consciousness, it requires a bit of a surrender because all of a sudden, we have to let go of our ego a little bit because it's not all in my hands. It's not all on my shoulders. I have to do my part, and the universe, which is friendly, which is benevolent, which wants me to succeed, is going to do its part. And that becomes the whole game. What is mine to do? And where do I let go? Where do I let God? Where do I choose to trust? So I had to relearn how to operate. It's almost like I was a PC all my life and I had to become a Mac. So I could practice things like trust and surrender and allowance rather than just hustle and grind. And as I start to learn stage 3, all of a sudden, life became more magical. There was this force that seemed to be supporting me, and the right people would show up at the right time, the right opportunities, the right insight. And there's this feeling of like, oh my God, there's some magic in the air. Have you ever experienced that? A season of life where you feel like you're in flow, and yes, you're showing up, yes, you're working and you're doing your thing, but it seems like there's some force outside of yourself that's got your back. And in my experience, that is so much fun, and it's way more fun than stage 2, and also a lot easier because it's not all on our shoulders. Now, you might be curious, okay, well, that sounds awesome. What's stage 4? So stage 4 is oneness consciousness. Because in stage 3, there's still separation. There's me and there's the universe, but it's separate. In stage 4, we realize that, wait, actually, maybe it's all one. Maybe I am the universe. I'm an extension of the universe, and the universe is an extension of me. To make that shift to stage 4, which is something I'm playing with a lot these days, we need to move from the head into the heart. Because to the mind, there are many, but to the heart, there is one. And for me, coming here in nature helps me feel this oneness. Not understand it intellectually, although it's a little bit like thinking about the ocean. There's all these individual drops, but they're still part of the ocean. It's one. It's the same thing for us. But we have to see beyond this illusion of separation. Nature is a good reminder. For me, Sunday, just a couple of days ago, I went to Mount Royal in Montreal at the Tam Tam. Tam Tam is the place where on Sunday, the drummers come and they do this big drum circle. It's so much fun. It's such good energy. And it's amazing because these guys, they don't talk. They don't have a set plan. They just start to play and they feel into each other's energy and somehow something gets created. And I just stood there dancing, flowing, feeling amazing and feeling this oneness. I'll show you a little clip right now of what it was like. And so in oneness, we start to feel like truly we are all not separate. We're all one big family. Everyone is my brother, my sister. And at the heart level, we're really not so different. We all kind of want the same things. So back to our original question, do we believe we live in a friendly universe or not? Well, here's the interesting part. I have found that what we choose to believe becomes our reality. If you believe the universe is hostile, you will manifest that, you will experience that, you will see that. If you believe it's neutral, then that will be your reality. But if you believe it's friendly, then you will experience the magic and the kindness and the beauty that's all around, and all of a sudden, life will get a lot easier. So I invite you to experiment with that. Maybe spend time in nature, enjoy the beautiful weather, and feel that you are connected to everything. And all you have to do is your part. Show up, follow what makes you feel alive, what makes you feel passionate, give yourself to it, and then watch and wonder as the universe plays its part and somehow makes the whole thing work. Enjoy the journey, enjoy the ride, enjoy the magic, and I'll see you in the next video.